everyone, welcome back to Museum Diaries. I'm with Veronica in the kitchen, and Veronica today made some delicious chicken mole. It's cooking right now in here.
And I separate the chicken so that the giblets, I make a separate little stew, and then I dice up the giblets, the liver, kidneys, the heart. It's very delicious. And I chop that up, and then I let the babies eat it because they love that soup. So here they are, waiting patiently for it to
cool off. And it's in their pot right there, and all the goodies are in there, and it's so healthy for them in the broth.
Close up so they can see.
Let me see if I can zoom in here. So you see all the giblets and all the goodies, all the yummies are there, and these two babies are patiently waiting. They won't go anywhere.
And we also are patiently waiting for our mole.
They're just in this corner right here, waiting for the food to cool off.
Here, show on me, I want to tell them. So when you make your mole, there are a couple variations, but one of the things you want to make sure is that you use a little peanut butter, not too much. I already added the sugar, so there's one more ingredient I'm missing. What is
there
it?
Is?
Yes. Oh, we don't have chocolate. Do we have any chocolate?
No.
It's supposed to have cocoa.
No, I don't think we do. We have that.
There it is. Okay, then you actually put in cocoa. I know it sounds very odd, but this is traditional mole from Mexico, made by my family, and this was the trick to it.
Secret ingredients.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot cocoa and peanut butter. Just gonna get that all stirred in there with the chicken, and the chicken's gonna fall apart.
It doesn't seem, like, what do you mean you're putting peanut butter and cocoa inside of your chicken gravy? Yes, because it's exquisite, and my family has the best Mexican restaurant.
You guys are gonna have to share
recipes.
Somebody's growling over here. I know it's not Napoleon because Napoleon's a sweetheart. Lucky's the one that's growling. You're gonna have to share, Lucky. It's not all yours, baby. Sorry to tell ya.
Should I separate it now?
Separate what?
The meats?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give Lucky Boo.
Okay, we're gonna separate the food for you guys.
Okay, Lucky Boo. Here you go.
Make sure you save some for Boyo.
Yeah. Come on, Lucky Boo.
That's for you, Boyo. Napoleon. That's for you, baby. Well.
Oh, she's chomping away in it.
Yeah, he's gonna start doing the same thing here pretty soon. He likes to lick up the juice.
Yeah.
So there you have it. They're having their healthy, nutritional goodies from the chicken. So as you can see, the chicken doesn't go to waste.
We always make sure that every time I cook the meat, and I do most of the cooking, I always save about a third of the meat for their portions. And I do it to, so they get lots of plenty meat, they're carnivores. And I do it so that I don't overfeed Lucky or overfeed him. So let's say I'm making a turkey. I remove the turkey, I chop it, get rid of the bones, and then I serve them. So they're little bite sizes. You don't it's really hard for them to eat large chunks of things. They prefer everything broken down.
Well, Napoleon's really enjoying it, as you can see.
He just loves it.
Okay, we wanted to show you guys how we take care of our dogs with the excess chicken we get, and they absolutely love the nutrition. It's so healthy for them. And this is what we feed them for dog food. We feed them the IAMs.
Here, I'll get the can out.
The mini chunks of chicken. They love that. I paid $33 for that bag right there.
And this is what they get every single day.
We paid $2.49 for each can of chicken, and they love it.
Every day.
Every day. So you multiply $2.49 times 30. You're talking a little bit of money there. That doesn't include their treats,
Right.
their doggy pads, which I see we're missing one. Did you know that?
Get one.
We might have to open up the new pack. Yeah. No, here's one. Here's one. Pull it.
I got it.
Okay. This is where we keep our doggy pads.
Lucky Boo does not like going out that door. You know, the doggy doors?
Yeah, Lucky refuses to go out the doggy door right
I
there.
tried to train her, but her attitude is, no, 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 I prefer being house trained. So she does it on the pads.
Yeah, I'll leave my door open at night to my bedroom, and she'll come all the way out here from all the way over there. That's the bedroom door to my room. From all the way over there, she'll walk all the way out here just to go potty right there. But
Hey, let's do some recording of Sister Me today.
so we're probably gonna catch you guys up with some Sister Me. We haven't read any Sister Me in a while to you, so we're probably gonna set up the camera and do that because we're due for an episode. So I'm gonna cut it off right here with the doggies. Napoleon, as you can see, is enjoying his yummies.
Bye, guys.
Okay, we'll see everyone. We're back today with Veronica, the Duchess, and she's gonna read some of her prison writings, and she's got a compilation. She's got so many pages, and she's gonna read into one of her chapters today of Sister Me. And she just went to go get her reading glasses.
Okay.
I was telling them what you're gonna read today. This is part of Sister Me, but do you want to give us a little more information about it?
Sister Me is a compilation of my life while I was doing time and right after I transitioned out. So this kind of describes my day when I'm out of prison now. It's called Svengali's Mistress. Svengali was a man who could hypnotize these women and they would do anything that they wanted. Okay, Svengali's Mistress, Chapter 1. 2007, Bainbridge Island, Washington. There in the wealth and ease of one summer's day, in broad daylight, I saw my own ghost. The silver blue Lincoln town car glistened as it slid smoothly down the road along the water. The large estates appeared effortlessly tranquil as the shores were as the shores were lazily lapped by the undulating caresses of salt water. The sunbeams shone through the cathedral of tall firs, and there was a faint scent of salt water. It was an environment of dreams made manifest, real and there for the taking. But at a price most could never afford. Nonetheless, this was America, and in this land of plenty, anything was possible. Still, no one could have suspected that the handsome couple behind the tinted windows had a terrible history of scandal, prison, infamy. Veronica, with long blonde hair and the figure of a centerfold, was a beautiful woman, mistaken for her early 30s, though she was approaching 50. Attractive cross between Anthony Hopkins and Albert Einstein was her man. Both felt their years of turmoil were now safely behind them, and this was their day to help the others at Helpline House, a community service center. An organization dedicated to helping those still caught in the struggle for survival. The memory of their own wounds compelled them to reach out to others, not quite as strong or not as lucky as they in dealing with the ghosts of their history. As the car rolled soothingly down around the twists of the carefully preserved farm track on the outskirts of the island, Ver kept her hand on her husband's knee. She still required constant physical contact to reassure her that this was not just another dream. 3 years being home was not enough to erase the deeply embedded memories of her 23 years in prison. Ver, we've got to reconsider our Canadian investments. Oil is down $50 a barrel. Jake looked over to emphasize the point. Yes, you're right. We'd better call the broker and sell it. We can go back to it when the price of oil begins to rise again, okay? Yes, and it will be up to 60 soon. Wow. Oh, okay. Jake was cut off by her nails sinking into his knee. She shrilly burst out, "Watch out!" grabbing the wheel and sharply turning the car to the side. Jake quickly braked the car to a halt. "What the hell did you do that for? My God, Ver, what is it? You almost hit her. You barely missed her." Ver turned in her seat, seeing no one. She got out of the car and ran down the road, searching for the woman she had seen. Jake parked the car and approached her tenderly, reaching out, embracing her, as if to shelter her from something unseen. The two slowly went back to the car. I'm just so sorry, Jake. I swear I saw her. It's okay, love. I understand. Can you tell me what she looked like? Well, we'll be late. We should go. No, Ver, there's a time to tell me what you saw. It's all right. I'm here. Nothing is going to hurt you. After all, I'm the King of Poland, your mighty knight, remember? Jake embraced his wife tenderly, stroking her head. He was a master at calming her. Over the last 19 years, they had faced and defeated many a demon. They both had thought these things were gone, perhaps with the infrequent exception of a trigger event reigniting a past memory and its ghost. But those ghosts were of things and people awfully too familiar. This had been a stranger. Oh, Pasha, I am so sorry. I really did see her. She was this emaciated little creature with gray skin and large, sad eyes. She held something in her hands. It was something that looked like ashes, and she was eating them. I know it sounds crazy. No, Ver, it's not. Eating the ashes, she's from your book. We all have our ghosts. We just don't always see them. So she was an illusion, I thought. The frail, emaciated image of the underdog victim. Her skin gray from the cold, her eyes frantic and on defense. Eating ashes, so starved for any sustenance. Her demeanor lunched over her and ready to flee wherever abuse might come her way. Why me? Why did I see her? Could it be my prescribed morphine doses affected my mind? Veronica ruminated silently. Spinal degeneration with no cure, only morphine to make me more comfortable. The CT scans, MRIs, and X-rays all confirmed the condition. Veronica was in an uncomfortable dilemma. A team of top specialists had tried herbal remedies, leaving various inflammations, acupuncture, chiropractor, herbal remedies, leaving her no better off. So waiting for surgery, morphine had been the end result. Perhaps it was making her too comfortable and affecting her mind. After all, she wouldn't be the first. In this realm of paragoic pandemonium, there had been Dr. Quincy, Confessions of an Opium Eater, Baudelaire's Fleurs de Mal, Berlot's Symphonie Fantasca. What about Sherlock Holmes? And of course, Poe. The legacy goes on and on. Drug use, morphine, for these people. Ver made a mental note to cut back even further on her prescribed dose. It would be worth some more pain to feel safe in her own mind. Let's go, darling. I'm okay. Veronica reassessed her husband and gently kissed him. You sure you are? We can... No, it's fine. Let's go. And off the Lincoln Town car went, heading to Helpline House to help the less fortunate on the island. A few days passed, and all was well. Both had put away the curious vision, attributing it to residual effects of Ver's adjustment to freedom. By now they had established their routines. For Ver, there was wallpapering to tend to in the remodeling. For Jake, there were constant outings for building supplies. Ver had just measured and cut and prepared the wallpaper for hanging when the phone rang. She rushed to pick it up, and the call, in case it was Juliet, their 10-year-old daughter. She had been ill that day, but insisted on going to school. Hello, Ver answered. Hello, is Veronica Compton available? The woman's voice on the other end sounded warm and eager. Whom may I say is calling? This is Jackie Bell with Fox News. Yes, what is it? Is this Veronica? Yes, it is. What do you want? Ver had grown weary of manipulative journalists and employed a curt reply as a defensive tactic. Well, I've researched your story and I find it very interesting and was wondered if you'd be willing to give an interview. Well, thank you, but no, I don't give interviews. Oh, I understand. But you've done so much with your life. I thought you might want to share with others how you got where you are. It's very inspiring, you know. There are other women out here who are caught up in relationships with men that are like Bianchi, and I thought this could be your opportunity to say something to them, maybe help them get free of the relationship. Bianchi was Ken Bianchi, labeled by the press as one of the 2 hillside stranglers. The case drew worldwide attention because mass murderers had yet to be interviewed. Bianchi in jail 1980. It was this killer who was the ultimate undoing of Veronica, and whom she had obediently followed into the dark night of madness and murder. I'm not just able at this point to give interviews. I've got family to think of, and they need their privacy. 8 years ago, for the record, I did the Montel Williams show with the explicit agreement they would pay for Richard Ramirez's fiancée, Christine, to get therapy that she needed. And they didn't. Oh yes, Ramirez, he's the Night Stalker. And Christine met him while he was in jail, like you met Bianchi. Yes. The reporter had done her homework. Christine had been one of the many people to contact Veronica, hoping to relate as a mass murderer's girlfriend, which Veronica was not.
This is non-fiction. Is this how it really happened?
Mm-hmm. Should I start now?
No, keep going. This is good.
Okay. Veronica, hoping to relate as a mass murderer's girlfriend, which Veronica was not. Veronica had instead tried to lead Christine away from Ramirez, enlightening her as to the dangers of involvements, attempting to help Christine see that whatever drove her to contact him was obviously a part of her historical dysfunction, and she needed professional help for that. Yes, we're all just trying to heal and get beyond the past. We need to move on. I understand, but some women are still caught up in the mess, the reporter said, attempting to cajole Ver into an involvement through guilt and social responsibility. I'm sure you're right, but this just can't be for me. Maybe some other time. Thank you for calling. Goodbye. Ver quickly ended the chat, hanging up the phone. And so there was one of more of a half a dozen calls over the last year requesting that Veronica open up, and she had no desire to open that terrible box, the box of secrets and pain, her own Pandora's box. By the next week, routine had blotted out the strange events of the Phantom, and the family had decided to go on a camping trip. As usual, Ver was the last one to bed. Having put Juliet and Jake down, she made her final rounds through the large house. She would check each room to be certain all appliances and lights were off and things were in order. Orderliness was one of her ways of gaining a sense of being in control and helping her to feel needed. It was her contribution to the household, and she took pride in providing a nice, clean environment for her family. She checked the lower level first. Juliet's computer was left on. She'd have to remind her in the morning. She'd have one more chance, and then Ver would have to yank it for a night. Jake had left the reading light on. After turning everything off, she climbed the stairs to the next level. The DVD was on the entertainment room, The cat's water needed refilling, and a collection of magic markers and drawings lie on the floor. After gathering up the mess, Ver switched off the lights, and just as the blackness filled the room, she heard a voice. It was muffled, but she could discern the voice was female. It was that of a child. "Juliet, you're supposed to be in bed. Juliet!" She crossed the den through the kitchen and into the dining room, glancing around the empty rooms. Undoubtedly, Juliet had crept quietly up the stairs to her bedroom, Ver thought. As she climbed the stairs, turning off the light switches as she went, again she heard the girl's voice, this time coming from downstairs. Juliet must have sneaked down into the entertainment room somehow and is now talking on a phone. A thing she had been doing covertly because house rules discard no phone calls after 9:30, and it was 10 p.m. Ver could feel her annoyance level rise as she tiredly descended the long flight of stairs. The home was large, about 5,000 square feet. Unlike their back guest house, there was a lot of walking space spread out over 3 levels, and Ver wasn't in the mood to squabble with Juliet about sneaking to use the phone, but it was her job. Ver passed through the kitchen, the dining room, and the den, and finally to the entertainment room. All was as flat dark. Juliet was nowhere to be found. Ver had a sudden impulse to run back upstairs and check on her. Check her room, her bed. She needed to see her, touch her, and be sure she was okay. Ever since Ver's mother told her that she experienced strange visions and feelings that signaled As Veronica sat beside the child's bedside, she held her hand and said a quiet prayer of gratitude to God for her child's health. When Juliet's breathing slowed, Ver tiptoed out of the room, went down the hall past the other bedrooms and bathrooms, quietly slipping into bed beside Jake. Scooting over him, wrapping arms and legs around him, she unintentionally woke him up. Always cheered by his wife's affection, he chuckled, holding her in his arms until she dozed off. Oh, God, those were the days.
Miss Jake.
Oh, it was so wonderful.
Jake passed away from an ALS, and it was a very sad situation, you guys. Veronica had to euthanize him because he signed up for euthanasia. He knew his health was going to decline, and that's something that he signed up with the doctors and Veronica and her daughter, their daughter Juliet, of course, they came to an agreement. So she still mourns him. She still cries for him. I'm a witness to that, so I can attest to that.
But I have such superb memories and such the kindness that he gave me into my life.
He was known as
gentleness.
Professor Jake Wallace.
Or Dr. Wallace. He was just phenomenal as a human being, as a husband. You couldn't have asked for a greater human being to spend your life with. He was so brilliant and gentle and kind and loving and miraculous. He would sing songs. He would write poetry. He would quote things in other languages. He was the most exciting person I've ever met.
So there's a little bit about Jake. I just wanted to share that.
Oh, Jakey Poo. I also call him Pasha. Pasha is a term that is used, it shows authority over another person. And so I used to call him Pasha, that I was one of the girls in his harem, which I was the only one of, by the way. The following morning, she wrote in her journal, I was only asleep 20 minutes or so when a disturbing dream woke me. I had been walking down an abandoned tree. Lights shone out of the window, but I could see no one anywhere. It was like a ghost town. At first, I simply was curious as to why no one was visible. But then a dawning knowledge hinted. A murderer was on the loose, and I knew he was out there hiding, waiting to find me. I stayed in the shadows. I sensed if I saw him, the vision of him would paralyze me and I would be unable to move again. So I just kept running and running through the empty streets. In the foggy distance, I heard the little girl's voice cry out. It was the same voice I had heard before. I knew it was up to me. Only I could save her. Oh God, I thought, I've got to find her. Running, I followed the voice into an abandoned building which resembled the prison of my recent past. It resembled the administrative solitary confinement lockdown cells that I knew so well. Her crying came from cell number 12, the cell I had spent 3 years of my life in, the same cell one of my best friends committed suicide in. When I opened cell 12's door, there she was, a tiny, frail little girl with tears running down her dirt-caked face. Her arms were wrapped around a large box as if its contents were more valuable to her than her own life.
How sad.
I felt I had to protect and console her, but as I began to approach the girl, she screamed and pointed behind me. As I turned around, I felt a mortal dread. I've never felt more terror. The surge of adrenaline actually awakened me. Sitting up, petrified by some hidden knowledge, I rose to drink some water, hoping it would calm me and dispel my mood. There was some comfort in thinking it had all been a nightmare, but under that lurked a dread of something nameless. As I began to fill my glass, I heard the same little girl's voice coming from the downstairs. Still panicked, I dropped my glass, spilling water on my dressing gown. My stomach knotted. Oh God, this is real. I'm out of my dream. I said a prayer under my breath. Please, Father God, in Jesus' name, don't let me be going crazy again. Let me understand what this means. I need you, God. Please help me and protect me. Please, God. Please, God. No more craziness, please. I would not crumble under this terror. If I went back to bed, it would only confirm my developing madness. I had to face it, whatever it was. I felt compelled to go down those stairs again, to follow through, to try to make sense of what was going on in my mind and whether any of it was real. Throwing a hand towel on the wet floor so Jake wouldn't slip on the spilt water. Then I grabbed a heavy flashlight out of our emergency drawer. If it might be an intruder, I'd have some method of defense. I started down the downstairs. Okay, I'm gonna stop there.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
I think you've experienced PTSD from a very young age, ever
Yes.
since you were kidnapped at the age of 10.
I think you're right.
And then you experienced more when you were in prison.
Well, I think when I was hospitalized as a child.
Because even your prison environment shows up in your dreams.
Yeah, it does.
And people chasing you.
I've got to check on our mole.
Yeah. So, you guys, that was Veronica sharing her writings called Svengali's Mistress, and it's nonfiction.
Sister
It's a piece of her life. It's part of her Sister Me writings that she has, and she's been cooking chicken mole all day, so she's checking on that right now. And that's about all we're going to share with you today. I want you guys to remember, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Check out our website, museumamericana.com. Veronica does have a few art pieces for sale at Etsy at the Museum Americana Gallery, and they go between $25,000 to $50,000 a piece. These are pieces that we're looking forward to, hopefully within the next couple years, exhibiting at the Los Angeles Museum of Contemporary Art. Now that's just a matter of time, and it's in the works. But we also have a Patreon if you want to become a patron for Museum Americana. Check that out. It's patreon.com/Museum Americana. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. MuseumAmericana.com. You guys, thank you for everything. If you like this video, remember to give a like. Okay, you guys, thank you for everything.
Peace
We'll
out.
talk to you soon. Bye for now.